All right, we are just about T-minus 2 minutes to Derby. Ladies and gentlemen, and both and neither, I am Mo Cheesemo. I'm going to be announcing this game for you, the ultimate game, the final game of the weekend for Silence of the Jams. It is Montreal Roller Derby, new skids of the block, versus the Boston Roller Derby A team. New skids are in that neon green and pink that we all know and love so well, unless you're skating against them, in which case I'll bet you grow to hate those colors very, very quickly. Boston is going to be in white. We have seen a lot of Montreal this weekend, and they lost to arch rival, so I believe they are 2-1 for the weekend. But Sexpos have played a couple of times as well, so I might be getting that record mixed up a little bit. Want to give a shout out to our officials here. I haven't been able to do that reliably. Chemical Restraint, Buzz Lightyear, Peter Coles, Treasure Stats, Fantastic, Mimi First, Kyle Crocodile, Trogdora the Jaminator in over 500 games now. Bang Test, Hannah Ballistic, Off Skates. We have Danger Muffin, Empower, Rec Support, Caligori, Viva la Evolution, and Jams Joyce, Toxic, Narcotic. You can tell I've been calling some French games because I'm giving some French pronunciations of things that probably do not merit it. On the house call, we have William Skatespear and Iron Lung. Skatespear, long-time ref. I've learned a lot from him this weekend in terms of some of the more fiddly bits of the rules. Iron Lung coming to us from Denver. All right, just a few seconds. And that whistle means we are ready to go. Take it to the track there. For Montreal, I see Y Bro Citrus. That's 357. Been jamming all weekend. Can't see the Boston Jammer from this angle, but I'll get that information to you momentarily. Looks like 7:49, Wednesday Adams. And we are go for the first jam, and Montreal grabbing it to the suite, as they might say up north, in America's jaunty top hat. First lead jam of the game going to Y Bro Citrus, 357. And we had a Star Stash by $9.99. It's actually Lammy, not $7.49. My mistake. Escape in the pack, limiting the score to only 4 points for Montreal as we start things off. Falcon Punch coming up next here for Montreal, number 66. And Devious Harmesis, number 30 for Boston. Harmesis has been a linchpin of the Boston offense. Montreal taking 2 in a row now as Falcon Punch takes the lead. Harmesis out of the pack as well, skating neck and neck, and that's going to be goose eggs on this jam. Score remains 4-0. Monsoon coming to the jam line. 0-1-3 now for Boston. Mix Merrick. MX Merrick going to be taking the line. 103 to 0-1-3. That's not confusing. Merrick is going to be your lead jammer. And not by much. Merrick hits that pack and calls it off. No, does not call it off. I thought I saw hands on the hips. It's called off now, however, a couple of seconds later. And no harm done. 2 points picked up by Montreal, unreturned by Boston. All right, Motley Crue, number 87, coming to the Jam 9 now for Montreal. And that is Mare, number 4, going to be jamming Boston. 3 leads in a row for Montreal thus far as the whistle blows. Mare coming around the outside, but yes, that's going to be Motley Crue, number 87, taking the lead for Montreal. Mare on the inside now, some good blocking by Montreal. That's 9-1-3. We got Blue Butt. They're organizing the defense right now. 999 up there as well. Katie Kaboom. Biggie Smalls. Bigly Smalls. Oh, huge hit for Blue Butt. Blue Butt must have followed Mare out. Did not end up recycling Mare. Mare putting the pressure on, forcing the call off. 3 points picked up by Montreal there. Boston still not quite on the board. 4 jams in less than 4 minutes. Gives you the idea of the rate of roller derby we're playing now. We've seen a lot of longer jams in some of the other games this weekend. Not this one. Not thus far. Rage Bradbury. Something wicked this way comes. That's 451. It was a pleasure to burn. Rage Bradbury is your lead jammer. Falcon Punch jamming right now. And escapes the pack as well. Rage Bradbury around the outside, calls it as they go into the last approach, picking up a single point. Montreal also picking up a point, but that does put Boston on the board. 10-1. That's a score and a ratio. Structurally unsound going up against Merrick now. Structurally unsound is number 36. Merrick escapes the pack quickly. Picking up lead jam there. Structurally unsound being drawn back. Merrick escaping the gravity well. Yes, picking up 4 points. Merrick approaches the back. No penalties being served. Full capacity out there. Unsound pushing hard to the front. Passes off the star to 183. That is Felix Block. First star pass of the game for either team. And MX going to call things. That is an 8-point jam by Montreal. New skids. Biggest jam of the game thus far. Citrus now on the line against Lammy Adder. 357, 999. Citrus with the quick jump off the line, but a crushing hit by Wednesday Adams, 749. Wednesday Adams pulling Citrus right around the back. Lammy Adder also pulled back a ways, not quite as far. Citrus now re-entering. Lammy pulled back as well, a second time. Montreal tripod in the back. Lammy making a break to the outside, making a break to the inside. No room. Meanwhile, up front, Montreal has problems of their own with the Boston D. Wednesday Adams as well as number 21, Malice, getting a big piece of Citrus coming out of the pack. Citrus is your lead. Took almost a minute to get that lead. Some serious defense on that jam. And Citro's making quick work of it that time. 2 to sweet, as they might say up there. Boston closes up like the Big Dig at rush hour. They still call it the Big Dig? Probably not. It's been open for 20-odd years. Lammy being pulled back. Meanwhile, Montreal is through for 4. And a penalty being assessed to Montreal. Didn't catch the call. Another penalty. Actually, a jammer penalty for Boston now. First jammer penalty of the game. So a power jam for Montreal. And they're going to call it off, giving them a nice power start. Close to 30 seconds to work with at the beginning of the next one. Lammy will start in the box in jam 8. 9-point jam for Montreal. Motley Crue coming to the line, number 87. That's got to be the year of like their breakout album. That's my guess. I remember that video very fondly. Back to the action here. Motley Crue is your lead jammer. Plus vite. Lammy standing now in the box, getting ready to rejoin the action as Crude makes their way around the outside. 120 getting a piece of her. That's electrocute. Lammy joining the fray now. And we might have had a star pass already. Yes, indeed, we have. Star pass go to number 183. That is Felix Block. Second star pass to Felix. Felix taking a jammer penalty. Tough break for Boston. Back-to-back jammer penalties in the last 2 jams for Boston. Motley Crue continuing to pour on the pain. Passing girls. Oh, knocked to the outside, forced to call it off. 20 minutes left to play in the first half. And that's an 8-point jam for Montreal. And Felix going to start this one off in the box. Mermad taking to the jam line. First jammer appearance for Mermad this game. We have a team timeout being credited to Boston. Want to thank our sponsors, 888-187 Killer Pads, Bruise Boutique, Union Square Spinal Care, and the Skate Good Club. Thank you for joining us here at Silence of the Jams on Twitch. It's been a great weekend of roller derby. I've really enjoyed myself. I've been here for every game. Hope you have too. Decent crowd here for 10 o'clock on a Sunday morning. And there's the whistle. Mermad and Felix Block starting things off in the box. Mermad knocked to the outside. Takes out a ref. Unavoidable contact. No penalty assessed. Mermad being drawn back all the way back to the third turn. And beyond. Pack in retrograde as Mermad hops in behind number 21, Malice. Great job of killing that penalty. Felix Block able to escape the pack, able to escape the box now. Is it an escape if they let you go? Hard to tell. Felix Block making great strides in the pack. Still in contention for lead jammer. Did not stash the star coming out of the box. Felix Block now being pulled back, and that's a track cut. Did not see the pullback, or did not register it at least. So Felix Block back in the box. Back-to-back jammer penalties for Boston. And Mermad's going to call that off. couple of points. No, I think that might be a scoreless jam. All right, so once more, Felix Block going to start in the box at the beginning of this jam. MX Merrick going to be starting on the jam line for Montreal. That's 103. Merrick firing their way out of that jammer, out of that pack, rather. Nice hit by MC Slammer. MX looking for the exit, and they have one to get by. Electric Cutie gets a piece of them, knocks him to the inside. MX forced to start it over. Doesn't get pulled all the way back. Meanwhile, Felix Block back in the action. MX is through. They are picking up 4. Signal for the bench is to keep on going, of course. Felix Block still working on the initial pass. Felix Block working around the outside. Montreal there to meet her. MX is through. They're picking up another 4. Sparky, the pivot for Boston, headed to the box now. And a big drawback for Felix Block. MX coming around for another swing on that pack. 12 and counting. Still got 40 seconds left in this jam. And that is the initial pass for Felix. MX in the front of that pack. And they're getting the signal to keep on trucking. Yeah, they call it off. 12-point jam plus 4 more. 16-point jam for Montreal. 53-1. Montreal will be starting with Bigley standing in the box. Boston has one in the box as well. 1, 2, 3, 0. That is Sparky. They're both standing and ready to come in within the first 10 seconds. Falcon Punch versus Devious Harm Assist, number 30 for Boston. Falcon Punch gets through. Picking up lead. That's 2, 4, 6 lead jams in a row, but picks up a penalty. First power jam being enjoyed by Boston this game. Devious Harm Assist is your lead jammer. It was not awarded to Falcon Punch. Falcon Punch, one to get by now, puts the pedal to the metal, breaks through, and that's 4 in the sky for Boston. Cutting around the outside. Low rider there to meet Harm Assist. And low rider there to meet her again. .66 Falcon Punch back in the mix here at the whistle. No points scored, competed the initial. 8-point jam for Boston, brings them to 9 points. First quarter is done, 15 on the clock. 9-53, Montreal in the lead. I see Mayer on the jam line for Boston, number 4. And that's Citrus, 357. But your lead jammer is Mayer. First back-to-back lead jams Boston has gotten. Citrus passes the star to Mangement. So many 9s. Mayer working on the outside line. Monge caught up in the back right now. Mayer with a tactical reset. 2 to get by in the front. Oh, rolls an eye on the inside. Mayer gets through for 4, and that's a 4-point jam for Montreal. Boston is going to run it. Mayer knocked to the inside, coming square, four-square up against that four-wall blocker. Boston forced to bridge out a little bit. Mayer with 3 to get by up front now. Electrocute with a little bit of offense, but Mayer forced to recycle back. Montreal still looking for the exit from the back of the pack as things are piling up at the apex. Katie Kaboom, Bigley doing yeoman's work, holding back Mayer. Monge escapes to the outside, now to the inside. Monge is through. Mayer might want to call it, and she does, yes. So that's going to be an 8-8 jam there. A lot of effort for no movement in relative scores, 17-61 now. Montreal maintains the lead. Motley Crude coming to the line. Monsoon coming to the line now for Boston. We have not seen Monsoon since jam 2, I believe. Monsoon on the inside track, cuts to the outside, still 3 to get by as Montreal keeps pace. Motley Crude caught up in the back of the pack now. Swirling melee there at the pivot line. A drawback on Monsoon, shorter drawback on Crude. Box clears out as Boston gets some reinforcements. Two to get by as Malice and Wednesday Adams organizing the defense up front. Crude with 1 to get by and through. Lead jammer is Motley Crude. And there we go. Monsoon is through on the initial as Crude is working on the first scoring pass for Montreal. Crude going to call it off before Monsoon can get around. I think that's all 4. Yes, 4 for Montreal. (17-65) now. Devious Harmas is coming to the line for Boston. And Montreal going to be jamming MX. We have not seen this matchup between jammers yet this game. Harmacist, skates both went out. They're going to be pulled back around the 4th turn. Meanwhile, MX escapes. Lead jammer. Harmacist escaping. Putting a little pressure on Merrick. Looks like Merrick is going to call it, yes. Merrick did get all 4 on that pass. Some quick derby. We're already 14 jams in with 10 minutes left to play. Mermad returning to the line. Only the second jammer appearance for Mermad this game. If I am correct. And that is Rage Bradbury. A multiplayer block being assessed to the exiting skater. That's the pivot for Montreal, number 13. Mermad in the front. Rage Bradbury coming in on the inside. Breaks through. Lead jammer Rage Bradbury. I'd love to make a joke about Toynbee convectors, but that's like a little beyond me, I'm afraid. Rage Bradbury's through once more for 4 points. Mermad looking for the escape. Big hit. Knocked to the outside by 749 Wednesday Adams. Rage caught up behind the Montreal line right now. That's Low Rider. Traz is up there as well. A pullback on Rage Bradbury. A pullback on Mermad now as Boston extends back all the way to the jammer line. Rage Bradbury similar being pulled back. Having a hard time escaping that straightaway. $15 left on the clock. Both jammers looking for an escape from a very tight defense. A penalty, track cut. Going to a blocker, unusually, and a star pass going to Traz. First star pass for Montreal. 4 points picked up by Boston, and I think 4 more will make an 8-point jam. And Lammy Adder, $9.99 back on the line for Boston. Fourth jammer appearance for Lammy. Falcon Punch going up against her. Falcon Punch is your jammer of record. Lead jammer of record. Lammy knocked to the inside, around the outside. Falcon Punch grabbing a quick 4. Oh, nice. Nice move by Lammy. Taking a couple long strides to get around the inside. Falcon Punch now is through. That's the first scoring pass. Second scoring pass. And that's the third scoring pass. Lammy with 1 to get by. Nice little pirouette. Breaks through. That's 4 points on the board for Boston now. Montreal running this one a little bit. Falcon knocked to the outside. Lammy managed to power right through. And 4 more points. I think it might be 3 more points from Montreal. Yep. 8-15 on that jam. Little under 6 left to play in this half. Mayer taking to the line for Boston, going up against Y Bro Citrus. Mayer charging off the line, grabbing lead jammer for Boston. First lead jam in 6 jams for that team. One in the box right now for Montreal, as Citrus fights to get by and does so. Escapes the gravity well of the pack. Mayer following her out. Mayer on a scoring pass. Some long legs on that Mayer. Both of them crash into the back of the pack. And a back block being assessed to Mayer is bad news for Boston. Power jam now for Montreal, and they lose the lead. Cheese grater coming out of the box means that Montreal is at full personnel in the pack. Citrus not lead now, but able to score, working on a scoring pass as we speak. 337 gets a piece of her coming out. That's Agenda, but not enough to stop him completely. They're coming back around now. A little juke as they approach the pack. Mayer is back in the mix. Skating back to re-enter the mix, I should say. Back in the herd, one might say that for a Mayer. Both teams with 4 showing on the board right now and counting. Both teams working on their second scoring pass. Mayer in the back. And a crush of Neon of Dayglow Malice. Meanwhile, up front, Citrus has escaped and picked up 4. The waning seconds of this jam, nobody able to call it off. But it does end eventually. 8 points picked up by Montreal. 8 points picked up by Boston. And an official review being called. Who's that review being called by? Boston. Thank you, Senor Poo-Poo. Senor Poo-Poo has been running the streaming all weekend long. Thank you, Poo. Been doing a great job. All right, so Boston was looking for a forearm call in the action that led up to the back block call. A few seconds later, refs did not see any such contact, so they will lose their official review. And back to the action here. We got Motley Crude. We got Devious Harm Assist jamming for the respective teams. Motley Crude is out first. Devious Harm Assist trying to compound a pass, but difficult to do when you have Mange-Moi. You got Katie up there. 913, that's actually Blue Butt. Katie has fallen back to try to provide some offense. Everything bunched up in turn 1 right now. Narrowest part of the track. Harm Assist is out, and that's the initial pass for Harm Assist. Crude picks up 4 and calls it off immediately. 41-96 now with 2.5 minutes left in the first half. Rage Bradbury on the line against MX Merrick now. Rage Bradbury asking, who am I this time? Not lead jammer, as it turns out, as MX gets it with a quickness. Rage Bradbury are like a rocket firing through that pack, however, following MX right out, cuts to the inside. MX calls it, picking up a single point. Under 2 minutes left on the clock for this first half. Mayer going to be taken to the jam line for Boston in what is possibly the last jam of the half. Falcon Punch going to be jamming. And look at that. A barrel roll, and Falcon Punch is through. I don't think that was really a barrel roll, but how often do you get to make a Star Fox joke? And through for 4 more. Mayer looking to pass the star. Unable to do so. Montreal not giving an inch. Falcon Punch got 2 to get by up front. Powers by Wednesday Adams, picking up 4 points. Mayer has not yet passed the star. Yes, no. Star pass complete, going to Wednesday Adams. Wednesday putting the pressure on as Falcon enters the pack. Falcon calls it just in time. 12 points plus 3, 15-point jam for Montreal. Puts them over the century mark, and unless somebody calls a timeout, this is going to be the half. An official review is being called by Montreal. Might just be a timeout official review. We'll see. All right, well, so Montreal looking for an illegal procedure on Boston for hiding the star And that is going to go in Montreal's favor, actually. So Boston's going to be starting off with the jammer in the box. A power start for Montreal. I don't know if that'll be served by... I don't know if that is going to be served by the... Because there was a star pass at the very end, but it's going to be served by Mayer. That star pass may not have been completed. I guess the penalty would be on Mayer for high to the star. Well, one way or the other, Mayer starts in the box, and Citrus is your lead jammer. Citrus around the outside. We are on the jam clock now, folks. Citrus picking up 4 and continuing to pour on the pain. Mayer standing in the box now, ready to re-enter. Champing at the bit, one might even say. Citrus now caught up in a little Boston traffic up front. Mayer has re-entered in the back, looking for an escape. Citrus is through. Guarding a little bit, but going to keep on going. Mayer pushing hard up front. Citrus now in the back, caught up in the Boston traffic once more. 50 seconds left to go on the jam clock. Citrus around the outside. Escapes, pick up 4. That's the 3rd scoring pass for Montreal. Mayer still looking for an escape from that pack as Montreal continues to pour on the pain. 30 seconds left on the jam clock. Montreal having no reason to stop the clock yet. Sparky back there doing great job defending, holding back Citrus. Not an easy task by any stretch. Mayer knocked to the inside up front. Low rider skating back there, trying to break up that Boston D. A real scrummer on the second turn right now. And that is it for the first half. Jam goes to its natural conclusion, a 2-minute jam to end things up. 15-point jam for Montreal. 127-41. Tough first half for Boston. We'll see what they can bring to the second half. Montreal looking good all weekend long. Looking to continue their dominance. We will be back at you in just about 15 minutes. This is Mo Chismo signing off for the moment. All right, Mo Chismo back on the mic here. Give you a quick rundown as the halftime runs down. High scorer over on Montreal was 357 with 44 points by my count. But the single highest jam was a 16-point jam by MX Merrick. Also of note, with a perfect game thus far, number 87 Motley Crude has achieved lead jammer every time she's been out. At least, again, by my very, very unofficial stats. Over on the Boston side, Rage Bradbury with a 667 lead jam average, grabbing lead 2 out of the 3 times she's been out there. Top scorer is Mayer on Boston with 16 points total. A number of 8-point jams on the Boston side. Montreal already lining up, ready to get going, ready to put Silence of the Jams to bed. Still have a few seconds here. Want to thank 888-187 Killer Pads, Brews Boutique, Skate Good Club, and Union Square Spinal Care, our sponsors for Silence of the Jams this weekend here at Inline Skating Club of America in North Arlington, New Jersey. All right, that whistle means we are ready to go. 30 minutes on the clock. When we last left our intrepid band of adventurers, it was 41-127 with Montreal in the lead. Montreal with 1 loss this weekend to arch rival. Arch rival, I believe, undefeated for the weekend. Back to the action at hand. Devious Harmacist and Y-Bro Citrus will be your initial jammers for their respective teams. Harmon around the outside, not able to get through, but Citrus grabs lead. Citrus grabbed lead in the first jam of the first half as well. Harmon has fallen back in the pack now as Citrus breaks through for the first scoring pass of the half. And a big pullback around the third turn on Harmesis. Meanwhile, up front, Citrus has gone through for another 4 points. Pivot reporting to the box for Montreal. Just as 100, Downer escapes the box for Boston. Harmesis now working on a scoring pass. Going to grab at least a couple of points there. Well, I could be wrong. Been wrong before. 9 points picked up by Montreal, unreturned by Boston. Nine-point jam brings them to 136-41. There's our whistle. We got Falcon Punch. We got Mare, number 4. Falcon Punch 66 is your lead jammer. Mare with 2 to get by up front. Bucks their way out of the herd. That's the initial pass. Falcon Punch not having any of it. Going to call it off after picking up 4 points. End of that jam, there was a penalty called on Blue Butt, sitting 30 seconds. So a slight pack advantage for Boston as we move into the next jam. Rage Bradbury, 451. Going up against MX Merrick, 103. Rage Bradbury looking for some S's for space and gets it. Out front, lead jammer. 3 for 4 now on lead jams as Boston loses their pivot to the box. Merrick is through the box as well. That's the initial pass. Rage Bradbury has picked up 4. They're going to run it. Merrick taking a big hit from Malice at the front. Nice hip check. Rage hits the back of the pack. Going to pick up a few more points if they can break on through to the other side. Merrick coming in, going to force the call off by Rage. Boston able to net 2 points on a 4-6 jam. And that's the first points on the board for Boston in the half. Montreal's got a gross of points, 144-47. Lammy Adder, 999 jamming now for Boston. And we have Motley Crude, 87 for Montreal. No penalties being served. Full personnel on the track. Lammy Adder with a quick jump off the line. Losing 1 to the box means only 2 blockers up front for Lammy Adder. Motley Crude in danger of losing that perfect record in the back. If Lammy can break through, 1 to get by, knock to the inside. Is that going to be a track cut? No! Lead jammer is Lammy Adder. Crude still looking for the exit, but no sortie to be found. Lammy Adder now working up front with a little help from Electrocute. Trying to bust up that wall. Mange and Company, a lot of 9s there. 999, 9999. And Boston now losing their pivot. Sparky to the box. At the same time, Crude picking up a jammer penalty. Only the second jammer penalty picked up by Montreal this game. So a power jam for Boston. Montreal making sure they don't enjoy that power jam at all. They're going to shut that down. I think they picked up all 4 points and take the power start. So a power start with Crude in the box. Devious Harmon is going to take the jam line for Boston. First power start for Boston this game. Harmon is pulled back, but not too far. Well, as I say that, re-enters. That's a direction of play. Not on Harmon, though. Crude is back in the mix now as Harmon takes lead. 3 leads in a row for Boston represents the biggest streak they've been on this game. Harmon is knocked to the inside, but finds an exit. 289 gets a piece of her coming out, but Harmon is through. Back around to take another swing. Crude is through. That's the initial for Crude. Harmon is pushed to the outside. Going to pick up 4. No, a track cut. Oof. Tough break for Boston here as Harmon heads to the box, losing lead jammer. We're going for 2. As Crude is out of the box and now eligible to score. 1 to get by, and they do it. 4 points for Montreal, and the 2 teams are tied up on this jam, 4-4. Harmon is still sitting. Should be able to escape before the end of the jam, however. Crude pushed to the outside. No, stays legal. No, cedes position. Harmon is out and through the pack with a quickness, picking up 4. Crude with just a few seconds is sent to the box. Back-to-back penalties for Crude means they're going to be starting off in the box again. Just where Boston wants to be. 12-point jam for Boston. Largest jam of the game for that team. Seven points for Montreal, nonetheless, 151-63. And Mayer going to be taking this jam, this power start for Boston. Boston calling a timeout, team timeout. And Boston, their timeout is done. Everybody's lining up. And that will be Mayer starting in pole position, so to speak. Horses don't have pole position. That was a terrible joke. Motley Crue starting in the box, however. And Mayer is through. 4 lead jams for Boston in a row now. Outscoring Montreal 22-11 on these last 3 jams. And counting now as Merrim runs up against Montjoie and Bigly Smalls, through for 4. Montreal with 2 blockers in the box. Mayer breaks through. Picking up 4 more. Only one of the box for Montreal as Mayer comes around for the 3rd scoring pass for Boston. 2 to get by up front. Oh, knocked to the inside. Yeah, not able to stick it. Has to reset. Boston able to keep the drawback from being that far. Katie coming out of the box now. Both teams at full personnel on the track. Mayer out front, 1 to get by, 2 to get by as Mullinge gets up in front there. Jordan Bigley. Now 3 to get by. Boy, the numbers keep increasing. Blue Butt now organizing the D. "90 seconds into this jam, and a back block being awarded to Mayer. Looked like Mayer was down to me, but obviously the refs disagree. Mayer picking up a back block means they lose lead jam. So, yeah, she's going to be sitting out the next 30 seconds as Crude finishes the initial pass. Still the initial pass for Crude. Crude has been jammer for the last 3 jams for Montreal. As, the jam goes to its natural conclusion. That was 2 minutes. And I think that's a 16-point jam for Boston. Two picked up by Montreal. Well, I'm seeing 12 on the board. Might be some discussion of points right now. Yeah, only seeing 12 for Boston. I must have miscounted the number of passes. Bro Citrus is your jammer for Montreal. Mayer is out of the box now, returning to play, but lead has already been lost as Citrus powers their way through the pack. Mayer starting the run from the back or on the outside. Montreal there to meet them. No! Takes a header. She's going to have to fight her way back through once more. Citrus is through for 4. Citrus working to the back. Mayer knocked to the outside. Resets in the back. Takes it around the outside. It escapes the gravity. Well, not quite. Oh, what a hit from number 13, Traz. Knocking Mayer to the ground. Giving more defenders time to get on up. Now Mayer knocked to the inside. Mayer still working on initial, I believe. Citrus now working on the 3rd scoring pass. Boston has picked up 4. And Wednesday Adams, we have a star pass going to Wednesday Adams, 7:49. Citrus is through. Adams is through. Adams chasing Citrus down now. That is the initial pass for Boston. I was mistaken. As Adams approaches the back of that pack, Citrus calls it off. Grabbing 4 more unreturned points. Looking for a track cut. There was a straddling of the line that was happening with the Boston. This is Montreal asking for the cut. Straddling the line from the Boston jammer, but that was not witnessed by the refs. So just making sure here. I believe Montreal is going to lose their official review. I don't see anybody in the box, so I think that's safe to say. Yeah, the dot is off the board. Meanwhile, back on the track, we have Falcon Punch. We have Monsoon, and Falcon Punch is your lead jammer. Monsoon knocked to the inside by Mange. Falcon Punch breaks through for 4. And a star pass by Boston going to Wednesday Adams. 2 star passes in a row to Wednesday Adams now. And that's the 2nd star pass Wednesday has taken. 4th star pass for Boston this game. 4 points picked up by Montreal. 173-75. Rage Bradbury returning to the line for Boston. MX going to be skating against her. Merrick off the line first. But Rage Bradbury on the inside R is for Rocket, and Rage Bradbury is your lead jammer. Rage is going to be pulled back by number 13. That's Traz. Rage knocked to the outside by Traz once more as Booby Puncher assists. And, yeah, makes the call. 3-4 on that jam in favor of Montreal. $78-177 now. Motley Crude on the jam line from Montreal. Devious Harmon is going to be jamming for Boston. No penalties being served. No, we got one standing in the box for Boston right now. So 3-on-4 advantage in the pack. Pour Montreal. And they rejoin, both teams at full personnel now. Harmicist up front, one to get by. But that one is Monge, joined by Blue Butt now. Attenuated the pack around the turn, and Harmicist is through for lead. 2 leads in a row for Boston. Motley Crude looking for the exit. Harmicist around the front. Bigley gets a piece of her, and it's enough. Well, actually, Harmicist picked up a penalty. Did not catch that call, unfortunately. But a power jam for Montreal as Boston loses the lead. Crude does manage to stay in. And that is 4 points for Montreal. Harmicist re-enters, going the long way around. Going to get a little head of steam up. Malice picking up an auto-play block. Maybe they were a little in front of the pack because it didn't happen over the line. But Malice sitting 30 seconds regardless, in my opinion. Harmicist back in the thick of things, cuts to the outside. Not quite able to stick the line into the boards. That's a noise you usually hear in hockey. 10-6. On that jam, 187-84. This jam brought to you by 187 Killer Pads. There we go. Mermad is your jammer of record for Montreal. 275. And, of course, that is Lammy Adder, 999. One to get by up front for Montreal, but number 2, MC Slammer, barely given an inch. Finally, the gain lead jammer position. Mad Mermad, perhaps. Oh, breaking through again with a quick 4 points as the lane opens right up the middle. Lammy looking for the exit, but the sortie is blocked. Blocked in the back as well right now. Mermad getting not a lot of traction against the Boston defense in the back. Lammy knocked to the inside now by number 13. Gonna have to restart the run. That's Traz. And Lowrider headed to the box now. I think there was a star pass to MC Slammer I lost sight of the stripe for a second. MC Slammer with the star pass, forced the call off. 7 points for Montreal. 194-84 is the score with just over 10 left to play at the whistle. Mayer back on the line for Boston now. I believe that is Citrus out there. 3:57 for Montreal. One being sat right now gives a 3-on-4 advantage in the pack for Boston. A high block being called on the on Mayer. That is something you see with those taller skaters sometimes. Citrus is out and still getting some grief, but yeah, out of play, but not a block, not a penalty rather. Citrus is your lead jammer. Back around, working on a power jam. Fourth power jam being enjoyed by Montreal this half. Mayer is out of the paddock now, returning to play. Citrus picks up 4 and comes back around. Mayer stashes the star. Got in trouble for that at the end of the last half for hiding the star too well. Illegal procedure requested by Montreal. But that's old news now. Mayer still with 3 to get by in the front there. Citrus working their way through the back. Mayer pulled back by Blue Butt 913. Citrus got 1 to get by up front. Jukes around number 21, Malice, and gets through for another 4. 12 and counting now for the New Skids. And a star pass by Boston going to Wednesday Adams. That's the 3rd star pass to Wednesday this half, and I think the 4th this game. 16-point jam for Montreal. Puts them over the double century, 210. Boston at 84. We have just under 8 left to play. Rage Bradbury returning to the line for Boston. Falcon Punch will be your jammer for Montreal. Rage knocked to the inside as New Skids recycle her back. Meanwhile, up front, Falcon Punch, your lead jammer. 3 in a row now for Montreal. Falcon Punch picking up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points. No, not 5. Just 4 points. 5 would have been a long time. Star on the track. Picked up now by Rage. I think it came out of her hand, not off her helmet. Looking for the handoff. And the handoff is complete. Going to 1, 2, 3, 0. That's Sparky. First star pass to Sparky this game. But 3rd star pass in a row from Boston. 3 in a row, 3 jams in a row. Falcon Punch. Punching their way through to the front. That's a 12-point jam and counting for Montreal. New Skids pouring on the pain now as Falcon Punch fights their way through again. Their third base coach is over here, and I can't understand a word she's saying. My French is not that good. And that is the initial pass for Boston. Going to force the call off, but I think that is at least a 16-point jam for Montreal. $226 to 84. And an official review being called by Boston. All right, Boston was looking for a forearm call on the Montreal Jammer, but it was secondary contact, no impact, unavoidable contact, something like that. One way or the other, there is no call. Boston will lose their official review, leaving them with a single timeout for this game. Montreal has 2 left, or deux, perhaps, peut-être. All right, teams are getting their info over there. 6:03 left on the clock. $84 to 230. MX Merrick versus Monsoon. And MX is your lead. 0-1-3 to 1-3-0. MX in the back, working on the initial scoring pass. Monsoon still trying to escape the pack. MX through, one more to get by, and through. That is 4 points. And a star pass going once more to Wednesday Adams. That is the 4th star pass this half, 5th for the game. It's been a long weekend, and I announce every game on Friday, so forgive me the occasional lapse in voice. 7-point jam for Montreal. Unreturned by Boston brings us to 237-84. Oh, Childish Gambino getting a vote on the chat. I can back that one up. Gambino has been dominant this weekend and really just fun to watch skate. Back to this jam, however, it is Motley Crude, but Devious Harmesis is your lead jammer. Crude is through as well on the initial. Devious already compounding 4 points. Cuts to the inside, breaks through. Are they going to keep running it? Looks like they are. Crude is already in the pack as Harmesis crashes through there like a mortar in a pestle. Cuts to the outside and through for 4. Trust your jammer sometimes. One trend in roller derby, at least this weekend, and the other games too, longer jams. Trading body blows now. Crude is out of the pack, and Harmesis is going to take 2 more points home. 4 to 10 on that jam. $241 to 94 with under 3.5 left in play. Rage Bradbury taken to the jam line for Boston. Mermad returning to the jam line once more from Montreal. Rage looking for some golden apples of the sun, but it's going to be Montreal who takes lead. Bigley Smalls doing some real hard work trying to break up that Boston wall up in the front, but now it's to fall back to bridge out. As the pack tightens up, returns back to try to bust things up a little bit more. Mermad is through, and that's 4 points on the board for Montreal. Looks like Bigley picking up a penalty for their efforts. We have Rage Bradbury through the pack. And, yeah, Rage is going to force the call off by the new skids. It'll be under 2 minutes of the next start. 8-point jam for Montreal. Monsoon going to be taking this possible last jam for Boston as jammer. And Citrus, 357. for the team from Canada. There's the whistle. Monsoon on the inside with an early leap, still one to get by. That's Low Rider up there. And along with Traz, trying to go straight up the middle. New Skid's not having any of that. We are bunched up in the first turn. The Boston pivot trying to break things up now. Gives a little space for Monsoon now with one to get by up front. That's Low Rider, two to get by up front. As Booby Puncher joins and coming from downtown. Oh, Citrus taking a big hit from the pivot on Boston. Has to reset. Citrus picks up lead. Montreal doing a great job of limiting the drawback. Citrus working on that inside line. Monsoon has been knocked to the inside, has to reset all the way back behind Low Rider. Citrus through for four more. Citrus going to keep on running this jam. 20 seconds on the jam clock. And a star pass. Going to Sparky. 12:30. Sparky gets on in there, ducks low, gets around the outside, picks up four. We are on the jam clock now. Citrus is going to call it off with 10 seconds remaining. Unofficial final score coming up. Boston able to get one last swing in on that final jam. Timeout has been called. I don't know that is right. There was no time on the period clock, so I don't think there's a timeout, and nobody has an official review, so I think that's it. Yeah. All right, unofficial final score, 98-255, as the New Skids on the block take the W. You give me a couple of minutes, and I will give you the most valuable jammers and blockers for this game. Congratulations to both teams on a hard-fought game and a well-fought weekend. It has been an honor and a privilege talking at you here. My name is Mo Cheesemo. All right, I have our MVPs for this last game on Boston Roller Derby. Blocker was 12:30, Sparky, and most valuable jammer, number 4, Mare. Overall, Montreal. Blocker, number 13, Traz. Most valuable jammer, 66, Falcon Punch. Congratulations to all our MVPs this game and all weekend long. Once more, it has been an honor and a privilege talking at you here. Thank you so much. My name is Mo Cheesemo. Thank you and good afternoon.